getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And the Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Hello everybody and welcome back as we are live and once again back for Casual Racing League, and it is going to be the Dutch Grand Prix here at the Netherlands, and it should be nothing less than a great, fantastic and a blockbuster race. We're back with a great one. It was round 3 at the Canadian Grand Prix previously, and it is going to be round 4 here tonight here at the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. It is going to be, of course, short qualifying and Then we'll move on to the 25 lap race. As we just move on to the race, before that, getting out on track, let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship. It is going to be Zero and DMAG, both the drivers level on points at the moment. Very close battle between, and of course, in the top two in the championship, the rest are not far behind as well, with Zero on top, DMAG in second place, and Cahor in third with 42 points. Then comes Pel 11 with 33, Magic Blood 28, Panda 25, SN Class 12, El Dominici with 10 points, and then there's three drivers with same number of points, Kronk, Pablo, and Iceman with 8 points each, and then McCurry, Zenu, and Callum with 6 and 4 points, and then Silent Rogue with 2 points in the end, the final driver who has scored points. And then of course the bottom five with Hunter, Noe, Ghost, and Matt and John, then with none of them having scored points yet. As we try and have a look at the Constructors title now, it's very close, as close as it is in the Drivers' Championship. It's very close in the Constructors' Championship as well, between Red Bull and Alpine, with 87 and 86 points to each of them, with McLaren with 36 points in third place at this point, and then it's Williams with 35, and then of course our Racing Bull complete the top 5 with 20, and then it's Aston Martin, Haas, Kick Sauber, and Ferrari, and then in the end Mercedes with having not scored any points yet in this championship. As we move on to the track action now. And there we go. We're just having a look at those standings and a bit of championship results. We will be on it, and we are on it for the track action and try and see cars out on track, which we are going to see here in this qualifying session. There's already cars looking to go out, try and see who went out very fast, and it is going to be Evdor 20 who's in this RB car with of course 20 points in the championship for Racing Bulls for time being. We'll see if he could add some of those, add some points tonight. With only 11 drivers out on the grid, there is a big chance for him to score points and try and take his team further into this championship battle. But we'll see how is it going to be done by all of these drivers. And meanwhile, he's the first one to be out of the pits. There are the rest of the other drivers coming out as well. Meanwhile, the top 3 in the championship, and your championship leader at the moment, Zero, out on track as well on those medium tires. We earlier back in Australia saw these two teammates come out on their first do their first runs on those medium tires. So that is definitely some strategies going on, some thinking minds going on between the two teammates. They're doing a very good job currently, sitting first in the Constructors' Championship, just 1 point ahead of the Alpine boys. And it is going to be Evdor, having started his flying lap, and he goes into turn 1 and a little bit of a lock-up on that front right. That could have been nasty had he not judged that. He does that even wrong than he did, so we'll see if there's any lockups on this year's game especially. We see a lot of drivers lock up, and kind of it has become normal. If it's just going to be a little bit of a very heavy braking zone, we're going to see these drivers lock up, but we'll see how this is going to be going on. Meanwhile, he's get it on in about 27 seconds at the end of the first sector. We'll see others beginning their flying laps as well, and that is a huge lockup from Ghost there. That was going to be close to see how good he was going to be doing, and we'll see how good he's going to do just as he gets closer to the end of that first sector, and that is 24.6. This is looking very quick for him as compared to what Evdor was doing, but we'll see how good he has went. So, Magic Blood is just going to begin his flying lap, and one of the Alpine drivers as well, and it's going to be Mr. Koda who's going to be starting his flying lap. Are we seeing any of the Red Bull drivers closer to the finish line? It definitely is Zero, and right behind is Cahor. But before these drivers, there is one, and that is Evdor. How quick has he went? So car number 5, does he go any quicker? Is he going to be challenging for the top positions? I don't think so. He's already into the 121s, 121.9. That is not really going to be the benchmark. What about Zero then? He's going to show us what is really going to be the quickest lap tonight, and it is 110.0, and Ghost goes even quicker. That is 0.98 from Ghost there. 110.5 for him at 0. Meanwhile, Ghost on those, of course, soft tires goes about 5/10 quicker. That is pretty much what's the difference, what the tires make, as we have the rest of the drivers right behind, and it's going to be Kronk coming out now with 8 points to his name on that Czech Drivers' Championship. Can he go move himself further? Only P4 though. What about his teammate? He came back into the pits, and then Magic Blood. We saw him starting his lap earlier. How good is he going to be able to go? And across that finish line, that is going to be P4. Meanwhile, Mr. Kota, he's going to be going fastest of them all. 109.423, and he's going to be the first driver to get into those 109s. 8 drivers having had a lap time on board. We're waiting on the last 3 to do so. 11 drivers on the grid tonight, and we'll see who's able to be the fastest and the quickest of them all. Are we going to see anybody? And it's going to be Evdor. He's improving by over 7 seconds, and he does go second place there. He definitely maybe had made a mistake or just wasn't going anywhere in that first lap, but he's had a fantastic improvement, which sees himself P2. And before that, that Alpine driver's time, it would have been P1 for him. So he's really close. He's definitely going to be challenging. And he showed one of the glimpses of his pace of what he's going to be able to do tonight. Meanwhile, Akahor comes into the pits. Are we going to see anybody completing their laps? Will it be D-Mag? He's far away at the moment, just on that banking left-ender banking. And we're going to see drivers, some of those completing their first runs and heading into the pits there. It is very interesting so far in this qualifying session. Meanwhile, Mr. Kyoto has went quickest with 109.4 in this session, and is going to head into the pits. He definitely is going to be heading into the pits. Are we going to see any drivers, any improvements though? Iceman then he's definitely on a flying lap, but he's not improving. Even if he was improving, he's far down, and he's invalidated his lap, so that is not going to mean anything at all for him. And meanwhile, El Dominiti at the moment, slowest of them all in this session so far, 113.098. But Iceman and Noit Acedo are currently yet to put a lap time on board, yet to have us see a lap from any of those drivers. But we can see drivers already on their flying laps, and meanwhile, D-Mag is one of them. How quick is he going to be able to go? He's exactly level on points with 0. Is he going to help himself going quickest into the qualifying session? Meanwhile, he heads into the pits, of course, with no fuel, and having done a lap earlier, he wasn't going to go for an improvement again. He's only 6th fastest though. His rivals just ahead of him, one of 10.5, but of course the tire difference is going to be, and we'll only know the real pace of those Red Bull drivers on those second runs, how good and better have they been able to do. What about Kronk here? He's definitely improving on this lap, and he's going to still say P8 though, not improved by position, but he's going to improve by position, improve by a time though, 111.982. He's just ahead of El Dominiti, who's 113.098. Any McLaren, and that is Iceman. How much is he going to be putting up that lap time there? Only P10, and slowest of them all. We saw him invalidate his lap earlier, and that is going to bring him down, not give him much any position out on track at this point in time. 11 minutes still remaining, so still a lot of time for all these drivers to do a lap, to go into the pits, to try and do what they can, go into the pits, maybe do add any front wing or remove any front wing bit of points on that, or any downforce here and there. Of course, you can't do much to that setup after you are into the qualifying session, as the Parc Ferme rules apply. Kronk still out on track, but you don't think he'd be improving. He isn't improving. What about his teammate, who's just going to start his flying lap now? The only driver without a lap time at this moment, and only one of the 2 drivers who are out on the flying lap here out on the track. And there's a yellow flag. Let's see what is it for though. But I think it's for one of the 2 cars ahead out on track, and it is. It should be one Alpine and a Williams. They're out. They were maybe one of them was giving away to the other. But we'll see. I think it's going to be 0 closer to that line, and that is. He's improving. He's definitely improving by about 2.5 tenths. It wasn't a 0. There was his teammate closer to that finish line. He was trying to start his flying lap, his second one, and now they're on those soft compounder tires as well, just like everybody else, just like how everyone around is on as well. The same tires, same performance. But who's going to be able to go fastest of them all? Meanwhile, 0 goes P2. He's able to get closer, but not close enough to that pole position time at the moment. 109.624. Assuming that they started on those medium tires in that first stint, They would have been interesting to see what they were going to be doing on those soft tires, but still far away from pole position though. And Sado goes P10 at this moment. P10 just ahead of Iceman, and John then joins in now. We have a late joiner in this qualifying session. Meanwhile, are we going to see an Alpine improving? That was a huge lock up there on that front left. Very, very close though. And now we have, Mr. Kuota still having the fastest and the quickest time. Nobody has been able to challenge or even get closer to him. But are we going to see Zero coming up, or even his teammate? Zero's not improving, and Kohor might have just made a mistake there, or he's going normal speeds. I think he might have been going normal speed, but he's not. He's not going normal speed. He might have had to give up on his lap, or trying to give way to somebody else. It might have compromised his lap for this time being, but we'll see. Zero as heads into the pit. He's running P2, P3, and it's the Red Bull still maintaining the top 3 point place here on the grid right now, but we'll see. Still 8 minutes remaining. Still, even if they don't improve right now, there could be a chance for them to go into the pits one more time and be back. Meanwhile, D-Mag, he's currently P6, the closest driver to contender for that Drivers' Championship, and he's P6, and he's not improving on his second run as well. On that brand new set of that soft compound tire, he's invalidated his first lap. He's going to try and let all the other drivers behind by, but we'll see how good he's able to do. Meanwhile, the first driver, it is just currently P6. Anybody else very closer to the end of that line, and it's going to be starting his lap as the Coors Red Bull is going to come into the pits. Anybody else, and it's going to be one of the Alpines, and that's going to be D-Mag into the pits as well. Now, John, yet to have a lap time. Of course, he was a late joiner, I believe, into the qualifying session, still sitting in there. Meanwhile, as 7.5 minutes remaining in the session so far, we're going to see anybody closer, anybody trying to improve and get better on their times, and it is going to be one of the McLarens just beginning their flying laps, and who's going to be closer to ending their laps. With 7.5 minutes remaining, we can try and see who's closer to that. And meanwhile, F-Door's time of 109.879 is only good enough for P4 at this moment. Is he going to be able to improve? Is he going to be able to get better? Meanwhile, have a look at this Red Bull, at this Williams of Ghost 22. How good is he going to be able to do? What about drivers behind him though? His teammate right not far away as well, El Dominiti, is pretty much very, very low on that battery. Is he going to try and go to that finish line? I don't think so. He's using that overtake button to try and give him as much speed as he can, carry to that finish line, and across that line he's going to come. It is going to be 1:12.6. That doesn't give him any improvement by position, but he does improve by a bit by time, and it's going to be Crunk once again pushing himself up just ahead into P8. I believe it was already P8, so he still stays there though. There are all these drivers, how close this grid is. Everybody's improving by time. Everybody's improving by a bit of time, but not improving by position as well. As F-Door now goes quickest, almost as quick as about P. He goes quickest P3, and then pushes himself into third place there. And it's very close. Look at there between P2 to P4. 109.607 for Cahor, 617 for F-Door, and 624 for Zero. This is a great battle to beat. Meanwhile, the Williams in P5 is not far away as well, as we are yet to see anybody get closer to pole position so far though. What about Ghost the Man? He's improving. He invalidated one of his previous laps, but how good is he going to be able to go this time around? He doesn't go into the pits though. His fuel light is flashing, but he believes the quickest lap is going to be the better one, and he surely got in quicker. He's definitely gotten closer to those top drivers, and it's currently P5 for him as he moves up into 5th place, 109.897. He still stays 5th place though. He didn't improve by position, but by some margin of time there. What about Iceman? He gets across that line. I believe he was just starting his flying lap now. With just 5 minutes now remaining in the session, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be able to do a lap. Maybe someone's able to do a lap that is going to be good enough, and a fantastic lap that's going to see them get better or even get closer to the pole position, or even sometimes, as you saw in F-Door's case, that he wasn't quick as he was very slow on that first run. Maybe a bit of a mistake with just trying to take it as an out lap, and then when he came in to do it as a flying lap, and we're going to see John there as we were about to switch up to him. He goes P7, and as he definitely comes out very late and the last driver to be up in that position come out on track. Meanwhile, Zero goes quickest as they're focused on John, who did his lap very, very late. Meanwhile, Zero takes pole position and goes quickest of them all, car number 99. He's really taking those with the car now. He couldn't improve. He did improve on this previous run, couldn't quite make it go as quick as he wanted to, but now he does so, and he goes fastest, 109.368. We're going to see if anybody else is able to challenge and get closer to him, and that is Iceman. He's going to be into the wall, just on the exit of the final corner there. He might have just lost that rear end, which is very normal to do around this corner here at Zandvoort, and that's going to be him in the wall. Meanwhile, Evdor goes fastest and quickest of them all and takes pole position, and this is heating up. The battle is on for pole position, and the fastest of them all goes Evdor with a time of 109.362. We'll see how close and who's going to be the quickest of them all in those final moments, and this is now really, really close and heating up from P1 to P5, all in 109s. We'll see, or even DMAC could try and improve, because definitely he's the championship challenger at this moment and contender in championship contender in this time of the championship and the season. But we'll see how good he's able to do. What about a Cohor? He doesn't improve though, just 2200 lower than his previous time, and we'll see if he's going to try and do a lap. Meanwhile, Zero's back into the pits. Just 3 minutes now remain in this qualifying session. Everybody on it. Everybody just now. The battle's heating up. The battle's on, and this is making it interesting. The qualifying's on with just a little bit more than 2 minutes now remaining in the session. It'll be interesting to see Kahur, the only driver on the flying lap, but he's definitely not on the flying lap. That'll be either an in-lap or a cool-down lap for him, and so is the case for Evdor. He just heads into the pits now. 2.5 minutes remaining. I think he would be thinking that he's done the job, but I don't think he's done the job, because having a look at Zero, HRT, Mr. Kura, Kohor, Ghost, and everybody right behind in that one. Those 109s could improve. Anybody could improve, even DMAG as well, not rule him out as well. He could show us something that maybe we haven't seen from him so far this session, but we'll see what he's able to do. And everybody around as well. Maybe John could do something. Magic Blood as well. Of course, these drivers are pretty much the bottom 5 runners at this moment, but as we get very closer and towards the end of the session, it'll be very interesting to see who's going to be the better of them all, and we'll see some of them going quicker. Meanwhile, Kronk is doing a real, he's putting some good efforts there, trying to improve, find improvements little by little, after lap, and we'll see how good of an improvement he's found this time around, and that is still going to be a good improvement, which gets himself to P9, which he already was, and he stays P9. This is his third fastest lap of flying lap, I believe, where he's improving by time but not by position, and that explains how close the field is. Very close, and he would need about almost a little bit more than 2/10 to even go into P8, let alone any positions inside that top 5 or top 3. Looking for drivers on their flying laps. And meanwhile, Ghost is going to try and ooh, that was a huge lockup from in there on that front right to try and get all the drivers ahead of him get past, and he's going to put it in the wall, and that is going to be Ghost out of the race. He just put it on the wall on the exit, didn't find any grip or any traction on the exit there of that rear tires. They step out, and he's going to be in the wall. Meanwhile, we see Magic Blood starting his flying lap, and he's put it in the wall. What about DMAG? He's just going to be beginning his flying lap. The battle is heating up just in these final moments in this qualifying session. What about Acedo across that line? He's not going to be improving, and everybody on their final flying laps now, pretty much with just 28 seconds remaining in the session. Panda in that Mercedes this time around, and we're going to see somebody letting them pass, and of course DMAG is retired as well. Has he put it in the wall? It'll be interesting to see. Has he put it in the wall? We'll try and see, going on board with Kronk there to maybe see if we find DMAG's car is out. He might have put it in the wall. Not sure what happened there though, but we'll try and see what everybody does in this session, and that's a cohort taking the checkered flag, so that is going to be P4, and the position for him, that's going to be qualifying over for the Red Bull driver. What about Johns, another closer driver in prospect to that finish line, and very interesting to see it will be. Does he do any better lap than Gold, any better than DMAG to put himself inside that top 5 and make those drivers regret their mistakes of getting out of this qualifying session? He's going to go P6 with 1:10. 0.3 there with Mel. Others right behind as well. Crunk, he's improving by a little bit. But what about his teammate Aceto there? He's improving by over 8 tenths. So will he be improving? We'll see how good does he do. So he definitely needs a big lap to put himself. See it improving. He goes P11, but right behind him is going to be Panda completing his flying lap, and he's going to put it P6. Panda is hanged up into the session as well. So has McCurry in P14 right now. He's just joining at the end of the qualifying session. And this was a great qualifying session so far. Very interesting to see. And the race would be nothing less than interesting, chaotic, and fantastic. It was rain at the previous race at Canada, but we'll see how this one's going to pan out and how this is going to be going on towards the end of those 25 laps. But of course, before that, we need to be beginning. I think these drivers have done a fantastic job, but of course the job is just half done for the likes of Evdor, Zero, Mr. Koda, the Alpine, Kohor, Ghost, and Panda and John right behind as well in P6 and 7. Panda did a very late lap, of course. One of the other drivers who joined very late in the end, and of course that Viridian driver we saw. Don't see them here though, but I think they did join the race, the qualifying session, just in the end. As we would now just wait for the race to begin for the 25 laps of the Dutch Grand Prix here at the Netherlands, here at Zandvoort to start, as we are just waiting for everybody to get ready, everybody to have their setups ready, their cars ready, and be their teams ready for some race for to go racing. And we are just going to be waiting for these now, all these drivers to get ready up, and we'll be back when the race begins, and it shouldn't be beginning any time. There shouldn't be any break maybe, or if there is, we'll get the confirmation in a little bit, but it should be nothing less than a great excitement Grand Prix. As the drivers, as focused as the drivers are, I don't think there will be a break, and we'll go straight on to the race. And it is starting now. It is not going to be no formation lap. It's going to be vibrant lights, and we go racing here at Zandvoort. And there's already yellow flags going on. Meanwhile, Evdor has got a great start off the line, and we'll see what is going to be happening. There is already chaos going on into turn 1. There's just many cars going off and yellow flags being called. Meanwhile, the race leader has went with it at all, and there's going to be Evdor having a little bit of a slide, and that's going to be very interesting to see and see how it's going to be going on. Meanwhile, having a little bit of connection. Things popping up here in front of our screens, so we'll see what is going to be going on. The drivers retiring out of the session. There's already drivers out of the session, and that is 9. Only 8 drivers now remaining in the session. This was the chaotic of a start. Before we even get to focus on everything's gone, and we are having a look at everybody. Meanwhile, maybe there should be a restart, and I believe there will be a restart. So many drivers out already, only 5 remaining, as we saw Evdor get a good start and all of the other ones. And to see what is going to be going on, I believe there will be a restart, so there should not be much to be going on, and it will really be a restart after such a chaotic 14 drivers starting and almost all of them out. So we wouldn't be surprised if we see a restart. Ooh, that is already another crash. Well, maybe they're just crashing up. So they could be restarting now, and the lobby needs to be restarted. So the drivers were kicked. In fact, we were having a bit of it showed up the connection, but maybe the EA servers were having their issues there as well. So we saw a bit of a banner pulling up in front of our screens as well. So it could have been those issues around. Maybe the servers having their own. Meanwhile, EA has its own issues. But we'll see what we can do, and this should be interesting. So we'll just get back on it once we have the race beginning once again and the Grand Prix starting after a great qualifying. This wasn't good of a start to the session, but the restart should be nothing less than a greatness and chaotic race, and hope everything goes smooth and nicely done. I'll just get it back as soon as we are restarted and have the race beginning once more. And hope you're here still with us. You've got the information on that restart. Half the drivers on that start in the first one were kicked. So of course, setting up everyone, and everyone will be starting where everyone qualified. So just in a few moments' time, we'll be starting just like before, and hopefully this time it's going to be a greater, exciting, and better start for everybody on the grid, and we get to see some great racing action just in a few minutes' time. It wouldn't be too long now, so let's just pick it up when we are back out on track. And there we go. We are finally just out on track now in a few moments' time, as we are getting ready up to go into the race very, very soon, as everybody's out on the track, and we'll be starting very, very soon for the restart of the race now. Hopefully this one goes very nicely, and a way better one than the previous one went. But we'll see how this one goes, as we'll just go into the race just like before and follow it up to see how everybody around does, and how good is all these drivers going to be able to do. We're still waiting a few minutes though. Maybe all these drivers getting up ready, getting their cars ready, getting their setups ready for that race start. And when it's 5 red lights, and it goes green, it is the good things for them. It is good feeling, and performance of these cars for all these drivers. Of course, the teams doing all they can for these drivers as well. It is going to be 5 red lights, and they're held for very, very long here. They're going to go green now here, the Dutch Grand Prix here in the Netherlands. F-Door gets a very good start. Zero on the inside line, far away from it, not able to dive and bomb down around the outside. The edge, Mr. Koda is going to go for it, and Zero's going to put it in the wall, and early on damage for Zero there. That is not a good start for our championship leader there. That is going to be somewhat of a start to forget for Zero there, as you get from P2 to P14 already, as there's drivers rumbling and position switching already at the back of the grid as well. We're seeing many drivers switch up positions. Meanwhile, McCurry doing a switch on Magic Blood as well. Meanwhile, so many positions switching up there, and that is going to be a LP right behind. That must be D-Mag, and it is D-Mag, and it's going to cause a safety car right up already. They were coming up the hill, and that was not going to go good. They were all 3-4 cars together, and he puts it in the wall. Maybe he was tagged, or he just put it himself in there, and this is another chaotic start which everybody was trying to not have, and it has happened once more. One LP to the top, leading the race, the other out and already finished of this race so far. We're going to see how this one goes out. F-Door losing out 2 positions in the end. The Alpine, of course, goes to coming up and catching up to him as well. 22 doing all he could there to put him up there in the top 2. Is who's going to come into the pits? It's going to be few of them coming in, few of them not. What about? And he gets a penalty there. F-Door gets a 10-second time penalty coming into the pits. Goes against all the odds, but doesn't have any damage, and a repair of that front wing is required. That is not definitely, but just a pit stop for those tires and to go into the pits. Meanwhile, Gronk we see here is in 6th place running. And as soon as the lights went out, they were held for very long as well. So of course, some drivers getting caught up by that, not having the best of the starts they could. Was Zero one of the examples, but I think now he's made a mistake, but he's got a restart of that as well, since I think as he got it, as he put it in the wall, but the safety car is still in the pits though, trying to get that from me as he just comes out. It is El Dominici and Zero just come, the last 2 drivers to come out of those pits. It's going to be very interesting to see. Meanwhile, D-Mac already out of the session. He crashed out in the end, at the end of qualifying as well. Now he's out of the race as well. Having a look at the running order for the moment. Mr. Kuara leading the race from Ghost of Mr. Williams. Then comes Panda in P3. McCurry in P4. Magic Blood P5. Real Drunk P6. Iceman in P7. The McLaren drivers doing a good job. Currently riding with 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship as well. Keeping their cars in P5 and 7 at the moment. Kronk in that Haas, hanging it in there in P6. Oh, all these drivers even right behind the safety car, having some of those lockups there. Kronk, Iceman, then Silent Rogue, the driver who actually was there. I think he has 12 points in that. It's not 12 points actually, it's 2 points to Silent Rogue in that Drivers' Championship. And all these now more drivers pitting in. And the leader did not pit on their previous lap of pitting now, because they know if they're pitting now, probably they can take these hard tires to minimum to lap 15 to lap 20 to these tires, or they could go even more longer if they have better tire management skills and tire saving skills. Could see them go to pretty much the end of the race, and maybe in the end try and go for a soft cup rail tire, and in the end be the better one on those soft tires. At the moment, Panda's taking the lead of the race. A Silent Rogan now, Noe currently running P7 as well. Looking for P8, John P9 in that Aston Martin, who's weaving around to get those temperatures, get these tires heating up, so that provides him more and better grip when it goes green and when it starts to going on. And we'll see how this all is going to span out to have a look at everything running around. With 4:15 starting. 14 remaining in this session. On lap 3 out of 25, could we see the safety car restart on lap 4, or will it be on lap 5, as we're just now making our way through the middle sector? And as soon as we are into the 3rd one, if the safety car is supposed to go into the pits, and it is the one to go into the pits, as we just get the indication as the safety car has crossed that middle sector line, and it's going to be growing green. It's going to be good to see. It's going to be nice to see. Have an eye on everybody around, especially Zero El Dominici. Mr. Q in that Alpine right behind. So is 22 in that Williams as well. Evdor in 14 as well. All those drivers. Zastig, and that is going to be the Williams. One more time, hit the wall. That was both of them just weaving around and warming up their tires. And Evdor is going to have to give up on that place. Meanwhile, the Panda here, see how good he's going to be able to do. Is he going to be able to do a good restart? He might not be. I think the Aston Martin's already going to jump on him. We'll see how good he goes, though. He has got a good start. He goes down, just goes now. Meanwhile, the Corey gets a 10-second time penalty for short, ignoring yellow flag. But that is going to be the McLaren going very, very wide open. Very flat. The top two have stayed there. And the Cohor, and the Cohor's going to go into the wall. Both the Red Bull drivers have hit the wall at that exact same place at the start of the race. One at the restart, one at the safety car restart, and that is going to cause a virtual safety car straight away as Neo now going to set out, going to get ahead and concede some positions he needs to as well. It causes a virtual safety car as soon as it went green. So it's interesting to see the chaos isn't ending. Everybody is there in their own battle. Everybody is there to do what they want to be doing. But sure, it is very hard. I think at some point these drivers kind of make it hard for themselves. Everybody wants to be the first one. Everybody wants to be the driver that needs to be at the top. And so that, in the end, especially the starting laps, I feel like some of the drivers you see are calm and collected and really not pressurized, or don't want to not thinking about much at the start of the race, and only try and go at it when it's the final few laps or the final stints. Meanwhile, these drivers are going at it, as it looks like from the start of it, as one of the drivers, and that's going to be Panda into the pits. He tried stopping there, just stops it in time. As McCurry's going to take the lead of this race and now lead on these 4-lap old medium compound tires, having pitted under that safety car. It'll be interesting to see how he's going to be able to get it though. And Mr. Q is out. Mr. Q is out of that race, and he might have just and that is exactly what he's done. Just on that pit exit, he might have put it in the wall, or just on the exit of turn 1 there. I believe he pitted earlier and maybe trying to go a bit quicker, or trying to get ahead of Panda when he was coming out of the pits and not let him take the position. He's put it in the wall as well, and there's going to be 2 drivers out already before even we've got past lap 5. As I think it's a full safety car now. Yes, it indeed is a full safety car. Apologies from my end, as it on that graphic once again it shows virtual safety car, but it ends up being the full safety car in time, and it is indeed the full safety car. For some reason the graphic is wrong, which is running by the game itself. And now it's going to be many more laps for all these drivers to go behind the safety car and until it goes green. 15 starting, both the teammates now out, both of them put it in the wall. Maybe sometimes it's your own mistake, sometimes it's the drivers that put you in the wall, but I think we'll only need to get to know everything about it after the race has ended and everything has been reviewed. So far, I'm sure it's not easy as well. Everybody prepares a lot. They prepare for days and weeks for tracks and seasons to start, and to put it in the wall like that, it doesn't really do justice to themselves, to their performance. Meanwhile, we're going to see 22 Williams coming into the pits. He's got those medium tires. I believe he's just 1-lap old tires, so he's fitted those, but he's going to come into the pits to come in for those hard tires. And I believe now, if they're able to do a very good job, they might end up going to the end of the race. Since if the safety car comes in this lap, it's going to be lap 7 restart. So just less than 20 laps now to the end to the end of the race, to the checkered flag. So the interesting thing would be to see who's able to go better at it, who's able to go quicker at it. Of course, some drivers having pitted, and let's have a look at it. It's some having pitted. Meanwhile, the top 5 have not pitted yet, as everybody having 1 pit, 2 pits to 1 pit stops each. But 22 Williams and that is interesting to see. Meanwhile, I believe something has happened here because this is some interesting thing to see. I don't think I'm able to do anything in time at this moment as the menu has just disappeared from ourselves. I believe if the safety car is going to come in this lap or not, but this might just be a bug or something for the F1 game. So it might be, as we are having now. It is stuck for me at this time to see on whose camera are we. As you can see the safety car still going around, still going to interestingly smoothly, as we were just waiting to see who had stopped or not, as the menu has now stopped, and it's kind of running it like a highlights now on its own and giving us the cameras the game itself wants. We really do not have the control of it, and we do not know if the safety car is going to come in this lap or not. So we'll see how will it be going. And there you go, finally, thanks to the game itself, it's back again. It did a bit of a thing and problems, and are we having a restart? Because we don't know here anything about anyone yet, and we are indeed having a restart, as we are going to get these menus back and be back on racing once again, and it'll be interesting to see what is going to be going around. Lap 8 out of 25, are we going to see drivers switching up positions? It's definitely going to be bold of these drivers going around. Meanwhile, Silent Road goes around the outside of Zero there, gets himself up into P7. P6 it is, and Panda there almost lost it going into the corner. That was very close, and Kronk is having at it, and he's going to go at it against Magic Blood. It's wheel to wheel, all of them are going at it, and Kronk has to back out. He indeed does back out in the end. Thinking about that, he might have needed to, and that is another problem, and that is a yellow flag. We'll see who's crashed it up though. We do not have information, and that is going to be another crash. And one more time we're going to see some drivers switching up. No safety car yet though, I believe it's just went in. But we'll see how it's going to be going around. It went yellow for a few moments, and it's not going safety car. It's still staying green though, and it is going to be interesting to see how it goes. Though we see position switching between Zero and Silent Rogue. Panda going ahead of Silent Rogue and F-Door there as well, and I think Silent Rogue losing positions, maybe letting these drivers pass, so he's got damage. It'll be interesting to see. He definitely has damage, I believe. He's got a front wing end plate missing, if I'm not wrong. I think I saw that correct. Yes, he has front end plate missing. Meanwhile, F-Door gets that fastest lap. It's all very, very close. Everybody very close to each other in this race, and 9 laps have already passed. 8 laps have passed, and we're on to the 9th one. Half of them are up behind the safety car, and it's going to be F-Door. And Panda there, wheel to wheel, scrapping it all around. Medium tire versus hot tire. Who's going to be the bravest of them all and get ahead and be the better one there? Panda seems to be the one so far. He's kept it ahead and a position ahead of F-Door, but he's going at it around the outside. Sends it, does F-Door, and very slow there from what Panda there was. It's 3 wide, they're going to go into the corner. They're still scraping it all around. It's going to become a 5-way fight now. Meanwhile, the Haas leading it all around Kronk, and everybody right behind, far behind. And we'll see how this is going to be, and that is going to be some spins almost. And meanwhile, the Ferrari goes into the gravel, and that is going to be a trip to forget. For Silent Rogue so far, it was going in strong. It was going interesting to see how it was, but this is going to be still wheel to wheel. Who's going to be getting ahead? No Iceman versus John there. Who's going to be the better one? Into turn 1, and Kronk there taps the McLaren. That was very close for him. Meanwhile, Magic Blood just gets ahead, and Kronk has to lose out on it. There was some tapping. There was some interesting things to say, but the drivers, the battle we're seeing here, one of the McLarens having been ghosted there for some reason, as you see, and that is going to be a ghosted McLaren once again. I almost thought the McLaren went into the RB there. Currently running in that final point scoring positions. The Red Bulls aren't having the best of the days, but D-Mag out of the race as well. So that main championship rivals not having the race they would have wanted here at Zandvoort, and still very interesting to see the battle is going on. The Sprigg is still staying there, the leader currently leading trailing by 1.3 seconds. The biggest gap, and down the inside. John is going to go for it, and he's going to send it down the inside of Magic Blood there, and that's going to be second position. And Aston Martin 1-2 now. He did not care about that, and he went for it straight away. But so is the McLaren of Magic Blood going to come back at him already before they are even into turn one. He's already through at him, and some others might be coming behind as well. And it's going to be Kronk around the outside in that house of the Aston Martin. He's going to have the inside line as they just get on the exit up there. That's going to be the outside, but obviously one of them had to back out, and it was John backing out, and now there was another tap. It was a tap from one of them, and one of the Red Bulls once again. This is a very, very chaotic race, having to scream out all here to get these battles, everything we can, and this is fantastic. Already a bit of a poor in the position there. Meanwhile, John now having taken the lead on the previous lap, as when not the lead, but going into P2. He's already on P7 now, losing all those positions. After a bit, and now there's another incident, and that is going to be Evdor making contact with one of the Red Bulls once again. Sorry to say, but both the Red Bulls have been quite dirty, if not to the others, maybe to themselves, making many mistakes. Which are always, and obviously not the good ones to do so, as it's going to be 0 now in P7, and Kuhur gets the fastest lap of the race. He puts it in there, but Zero's falling behind. Down the inside, he's going to go for it. He's going to try and get the McLaren as well, who's costing at the moment. I believe if he's in the race or not, well, it'll be interesting to see as he moves himself into P2, and the fight is on. The battle for that lead could just be beginning on with a Kuhur on those fresher and newer medium compound tires, better tires than those two, the Currys, Aston Martin, and Evdor now after having fair share of incident once again, currently running in P10, P8. I'm surprised if he did not pit this lap because his front wing looks very ruined, but I think he knows that. It's very, very wide there, as we were talking about that, why he hasn't pitted, and that's going to see him go very wide once again. And I think this is really something to see what is going to be happening there. Is pitted in the wall, almost taking himself out of the race now. This is interesting to see, but it's going all against every driver's will. Evdor, remember, started on pole position and now currently finds himself in P9, but very, very far away from the rest of the grid and having those incidents. It's going to be interesting. And Kuhur now taking the lead of the race on the inside of McCurry there, of the Aston Martin there. And that's the lead, the Red Bulls starting inside that top three in the qualifying session. Couldn't quite have the race start they would have wanted. And on lap 13 of 25 there, some of them pitted and getting themselves brand new tyres and a brand new set of those medium compound tyres. Already on lap 13, but it's interesting to see what is going to be happening though at the moment, having been on lap 13 out of 25. Interesting to see drivers losing out maybe a few positions, everybody now picking up, so the positions and the gaps are switching up. Meanwhile, gaps are opening up now because of course everybody is pitted, and that was only way it was going to be to maybe calm this race down a little bit, which of course it was going to be interesting. And this battle is now going to be on for P7 between Assetto and Magic Blood. One fight out for P7. Just Magic Blood's going to have that DRS. Is he going to be able to go down the inside line of Assetto there? We're going to see. Does he go for it? He doesn't do so. He just backs out because he knows there's no way for going it. Meanwhile, the two teammates are at it, and McCurry still keeps it though. Not far behind is John though. He's still staying behind on those hard tires versus the medium tire. It's going to be very, very close between the two teammates. Interesting to see what goes one or the other. Down the inside line goes John there. McCurry went very, very wide, and he's going to be conceding a place to his teammate, and John moves up to P3. That 14 out of 25, and it's been nothing less of chaos, fights, drivers hitting the wall, safety cars, and green flags multiple times. Meanwhile, just now, about 12 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. It'll be interesting to see as Kuhur at the moment leads the race here at Zandvoort, leads the Dutch Grand Prix by 8/10, not far behind is Panda, who's of course on those hard compound tyres, but it'll be interesting to see similar laps of those tyres to both of them. 9 laps on these tyres. Some of the drivers inside that, the bottom 4 drivers having pitted. So is Magic Blood currently running in P7, sorry, and he's kept it there, and the leaders are at it one more time as Panda goes quickest and around the outside, which is going to become the inside line into the next corner, and outside line into the banking once again. Who is it going to be the better exit on the exit this time around? It is going to be the Red Bull, of course, but the Panda is not far away as well. Around the outside, he goes on the grass there. This is very close, still scraping around. Nobody wants to back out, and in the end it'll help to be a core, but does he switch to the inside line? Does he switch up? Does he switch back to try and give him a challenge? And there's another yellow flag. What is it going to be happening there? It might be Magic Blood's McLaren. There's a yellow flag in that time, so he might have had the spin. But to see what's going to be happening in this time between the two leaders, the two drivers at the start of this 1-2 of this race, Panda and Kahor, just separated by less than 3/10 in this race. One of the closest battles on this track at the moment. Lap 15 out of 26. At the end of it, this is going to mark 15 laps to the end of the race, 15 laps, and it's going to be 10 laps to the very end of the race. Are we going to see these drivers pit one more time? Maybe the medium runners try and do pit, but not those hard compound tire runners. Maybe one more safety car. Everybody, that's what everybody's waiting for. But we'll see how it's going to be interestingly shaping out. Having this only this battle, the only one out on track at the moment, which is very close and under 1 second out of them all. To see how this is going to shape out. 16 out of 25. Akor and Panda. Akor, the driver, currently third. The driver currently third in the Drivers' Championship. Meanwhile, Panda, it says Panda 03 there. I wonder if it's Hunter inside in that driver standings. He's driving for that. Sorry, it's not Panda and the other Mercedes. Panda is maybe was driving for Williams earlier, but he's filling in for Mercedes tonight, and he's showing his class. He's showing his excellence of pace, racing, and performance. We are going to see, is there going to be an overtake from Akor there? He's going to try and use his DRS. Does Panda use it to defend? He does not do so. Is Akor going to go down the outside? But Panda's going to be able to place his car very nicely and defend that inside line. He's going to keep his lead so far. He's not giving it away easy at all. He's not giving it up at all. As down the inside, Akor's going to send it there. But Panda's just left enough space there. Very good racing between the two. But they're going at it. Nobody's leaving it. Nobody's leaving any room of... surely they're leaving some space out there, but not to try and overtake. I think Panda defended very well going into turn 1. And others, meanwhile, out on track. It's going to be Iceman and Silent Rug fighting for that 11th and 12th for that 11th place. Meanwhile, in those final moments, and that is going to be Panda making a mistake or something there. Meanwhile, Akor has pulled away over 5 seconds. Then Panda there. There might have been a mistake from Panda. He has the front wing right there, front right end plate missing as well. There could have been a mistake as we just switched for 1 second to see what the bottom of the grid drivers were doing as they're going to have their own battle. A Silent Rug and Iceman are going to go out to Silent Rug, push the wide once again. He has to concede the place and back off, but that was interesting to see. And Panda might have had damage. Is he going to head into the pits right away? He will have to be. He wants those new tyres, and I think soft tyres could be the time now. And if he has to probably get himself back to the top of the grid, he knows that is going to be the way. And this battle is going to be piling up. And it's getting started now, which is going to be Crunk and El Dominici. Williams versus Haas, the driver who's got 15-lap old medium tyres versus the one who's on 4-lap old tyres. It'll be interesting to see who's able to do better. Meanwhile, the Williams driver moves to the inside line very early, but around the outside, Crunk's going to go for it. He was very quick. From right behind, and he's done it all. He's going to put it in there, and that's going to be on P7 for Crunk, and he's going to try and catching up after Panda now. He's just 1.4 seconds ahead, but on those medium tyres, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be the better one. And the best driver of them all at this point in time. But now the battle we are looking for once again. Silent Rock just loses that position to Iceman now, the only closest, and battle which is within 1 second out on track at this moment in time. Lap 18 out of 25, which makes it interesting to see still these drivers battling it out. I think Aston Martin and that Mercedes now very close now. McCurry on those soft tires as well. This is very interesting going to be to see, and that's going to be a yellow flag, and it could be maybe one of the Williams there. And it is F-Door. F-Door's not having a race he would have wanted after taking pole position. He's really had not too good of a race that he would have started, of course, on that first start, but that second restart he did not have it a good one as well. Meanwhile, Panda is already ahead of McCurry there, which gets himself into P5. Lap 19 out of 25. It's still going around. Meanwhile, the race leader, Cahor, still going very smooth, still going very nicely for himself. 7.4 seconds to the gap to the next driver. John there, and I think he might have retired. He might have retired, and he has retired indeed, I believe. There's going to be a yellow flag. Well, there's some mistakes from one of the other drivers, and F-Door now, another driver to become part of the retiree of this race so far, and it's going to be one of the drivers right behind him. He cannot navigate back to him. They might have crashed. Let's try and see if there's a car. Let's try and see if there's a car crashed up there up ahead of the road. And there, it's not crashed. And I believe it was one of the Red Bulls maybe. And Cahor 6.9 seconds. The gap comes down a little, but the battle is on. But the soft compound tires on the inside line. Panda takes it, but McCurry's not going to leave him behind as well. He's on those soft compound tires as well. He's going to try and come back at him. Both of them are very, very close now. Just ahead is Magic Blood to them, and they're very close to Magic there, with 5 laps now remaining to the end included after this one. It'll be interesting to see who's able to do a better job, and I think the race leader has spun out once again, and it has. It is a core. Gonna try and pull away after many mistakes. These medium tires are now holding up, and he's got no front wing. That is race victory gone for him. He's got no front wing, and he's got only that nose without a wing, which is not going to stop him at all. We'll see what he's going to be doing, but I think definitely there's no choice to him other than getting him straight into the pits. Meanwhile, John now takes the lead of the race here at Zandvoort, and he's going to be your new race leader of the Dutch Grand Prix on lap 21. Battle's boiling up. Meanwhile, this battle between Cahor and Real Kronk there. Cahor on those soft compound tires, having what he went. He obviously didn't want to pit, but making the mistake. Definitely those medium tires now having run over 15 laps would have been in one of the worst conditions they could be, especially after such a chaotic and battles out on track. It would have been interesting to see how much grip he really had left on those, and I think we did saw a glimpse of it, which definitely we saw him having the damage and the problems which he wouldn't have wanted. Meanwhile, around the outside is McCurry going to go down the inside there. He doesn't go further though. Magic Blood around the outside gets ahead, keeps his place, keeps himself ahead of McCurry there. It'll be interesting to see what happens all around though. The battles are boiling up. Meanwhile, Panda gets himself back up into P3, and he's going to get another fastest lap, and that's going to be 4.9 seconds now, only the gap between the top. Between P3 and P2, 12 seconds behind John there, and I think John at the moment, unless he makes a mistake, he puts it in the wall. I don't think there's going to be anyone gaining 12 seconds in the remaining laps on him, so he could well be winning this race here at Zandvoort. He could well be your Grand Prix winner, Mr. John there. I think he's going at it. He, remember, qualified P7. And ends up been up at the top and finds himself the leader of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, this battle, Accor is going to go for it around the outside of Magic Plat there, and McCree's already had, they're scraping it out wheel to wheel, both of them. Accor gets ahead and gets himself into P5, and he's going to try and charge up right behind McCurry, who's on those soft compound tires as well, but he's pitted 4 laps or 5 laps almost. It says 5 laps old. Soft compound tires, 5 lap old soft tires, and it's going to be there. Surely going to be very slow. Meanwhile, Panda going faster, quickest lap after lap, and he's very closer to that race leader now. And Accor going for a race move there. He was very nicely done, and mentioning blood for a moment, thought he could go for it on the inside line. Meanwhile, Accor is going to find it very out there. They back wheels, but very close, and very lucky for him tonight and try and not knock himself out. There for Accor, both Red Bull drivers have been involved in that fair share of incidents, and for the entirety of this race. Meanwhile, Panda just gets ahead of Zero as well. 12.8 seconds. I don't know anything. Panda could try and do everything here, but I don't think he's going to be getting that. But I think after pitting, after maybe a bit of a damage, having the pit for those soft compound tires, coming up back into P4, P2 would be a very good result. Meanwhile, the Red Bull drivers are at it once again with both Alpines out of the race. They're going to be gaining most points and gaining a lot of points in this race so far. Going to be very interesting to see as well, to try and get what they're going to be doing and what they're going to be having around. It'll be interesting to have a chat with all these drivers at the end of this race, as the race leaders now have went into lap 24 out of 25. 15 drivers started this race, only 11 remain with 24 lap 24 out of 25. The gap between the leader and driver in P2, 10.5 seconds. He's really gaining big on him, but definitely he's not quite going to be gaining enough, of course, to be the quickest and the race winner here at Zandvoort. But it'll be interesting to see the rest of the drivers as well. The Red Bulls have done a very good job, P3 and 4. Carrying that Aston Martin, keeping that team alive, trying to do a very good job for the team. Both the drivers doing very great racing enough for that constructors title for Aston Martin, who haven't actually scored much points. They've scored 14 points only. They could well be getting closer to that third place in that constructors title, which is McLaren currently with 36 points, and right behind them is Williams, but also one of the Williams cars is out, and El Dominici only in P10. He's not going to be scoring many points as well. The battles and their own, the battles for racing are on. We'll see who's going to be coming out on top. Meanwhile, John R64 leads the Dutch Grand Prix. He's just going to be making his way to the end of that first sector. He's 7.8 seconds ahead of Panda, ahead of Zero, who's also 7.9 seconds ahead of him, and then Accor 1.8 seconds ahead of his teammates there. The final and the last lap of this race begins now, as we're going to have a move up the whole grid to see what has been going on for all around, as our race leader now just gets to the end of that middle sector and into that final sector. It's going to be John. It has been many incident, chaotic race, but those who put it at their best performance out there, they are going to definitely be victorious, and John is going to be one of them. He's going to do 24 laps on those hard compound tires, and he's going to come home to win the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. John is going to be your winner. Panda is going to come home to be finishing in second place as well, not far behind both the two teammates of the Red Bulls. They're scraping it out to the line. Who's going to be coming out on top? It'll be interesting to see. Meanwhile, Zero ahead Panda, and it's going to be a photo finish almost for both of the two teammates, and Accor is going to give it up. He's going to finish up ahead of Zero there, 3 and 4 for both of them. McCurry going to finish up top 5 for the Aston Martins. Magic Blood in P6, Kronk in P7. It's going to be his teammate Aceto in P8, but it's far away from that finish line unless he makes a mistake. Nobody's closer to him. So out of 15, 11 are on the course to be finishing. The top 7 have already taken the checkered flag, and it's going to be it for all of those drivers doing the best they could here in this race. Kronk finishing in P7 as well. Seto finishes now P8. Some good chunks of points for Haas as well. What about Ferrari and Silent Rock? +2 on his points table, which he had 2 earlier. He's going to finish P9 in the final, and the last driver in the points coming up to finish. El Dominici is going to finish the race and be the last one to be at it. Meanwhile, Panda here in this race takes second place. Fantastic performance and a great race to say the least. That is going to be nice and a very, very Those are your podium celebrations. John at the top with that Aston Martin. Takes victory ahead of Panda, ahead of Cahor, finishing P3 and that final place on that podium, of course. We're going to celebrate. Time. There is going to be interviews, and we're going to just have a talk with all these drivers racing here tonight. In a few moments' time, it'll be very interesting to see how all of their races went, and it'll be very amazing to hear in their own thoughts and in their own words of how they described tonight's race. In my words, it was nothing but chaotic. It was very interesting, and it has been a great one already. And there we go. Now we should be having all these drivers into the interview room any time now. Just waiting on drivers to be there, and we should be having a talk with everybody in a few moments' time.
One minute. Everyone Australian chat issue, they will join in 1 minute. I think. The people in the league will join in like some seconds. I will tell them. Yeah, Magic just joined. Okay.
Hey, John, can you hear us?
Oh.
Hey,
Sorry.
what's up? Yeah, no worries. Just take us through your race. How was it after qualifying P7 and many incidents, and especially what a performance on those 24 laps I believe you did on those hard compound tires. So such a great performance in that great chaotic race, in the race of incidents, in the race of mistakes all around, just trying to keep yourself away from all of that and coming out on top. Fantastic job.
Thank you. Well, the qualifying was terrible. I didn't do well in qualifying, but at the race starts, I got hit by somebody else and I had damage. So I thought, I'll pit and I'll go into hards and try and make it work. But I didn't expect what happened, because I'd say that's probably the most lucky race win that anyone could ever inherit. But I'm happy with it. I spent the last 5 laps just avoiding all the curves because my tires were dead and I just didn't want to crash so that somebody else would win. But I don't think I deserved the win because there were other people ahead. But benefit from the chaos and win on debut.
Still, I mean, as they say, to finish first you have to finish, and you did it really. And in what moment in the race you thought that now I can win this, or probably now it is my time to be the one at the top?
I never thought that. I mean, when I saw I was the first car on the pit stops, I thought, I can try and get maybe a top 5 out of this. And then I got overtaken by Panda when I let him go, just because I had absolutely no pace. But then him and Ankle crashed in front of me. So I didn't know I was going to win until probably when I crossed the finish line. But I was just taking it so carefully to make sure that I didn't crash along with other people that did.
Fantastic, and that'll be it, ladies and gentlemen. John, it was our tonight's race winner. And now we should be having a talk with Panda now, the driver finishing in second place. Is Panda here?
No, I don't. He's not here. Yeah. Some people are not in here.
Okay, so we move on to Kahor finishing in third place. Just take us through your roll race. How was it for you out there? I mean, after qualifying, I believe you qualified P4 there, and then of course a few mistakes. We saw you make mistakes and errors, but in the end, still got it back up to P3, and still being in there is nothing but impressive.
Yeah. Well, it was a good race. I think I had the chance to win, but I obviously you see that I bottled it. I crashed into the wall. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep my excitement like down. I realized that I'm not performing good under pressure or when I have a chance to win or anything. It was a good race. I qualified P4. I think I could have improved on my lap, but I didn't have time on the last lap. But my schedule on the qualifying was not great. And then we started a lot of crashes. I just stayed calm for the first part of the race. I tried to make everything good choices. Needed to go out in the pits. Also went to the hard tires. Then when it's restarted, I overtook Noi, I think, before the white line, which was totally my mistake. I didn't think right, I think, with a 10-second time penalty. And of course, I just after there was another safety car, I went into the pits. I served my penalty, and I got new front wings and everything. I got out of the pits P13, I think, and I climbed my way back to first place. And then after we had a battle with Panda, and Panda spun out in front of me, I was like thinking that I have a chance to win. But then after some consistent laps, I spun out and went into the wall, unfortunately. Congratulations to John. So I'm very disappointed in myself.
Fantastic. I'm sure there'll be more opportunities to improve and be better for you and for everybody around. But with both the Alpines and DMAG drivers sitting in second place in the championship, it's not finishing today's race. It moves you up now up in the drivers championship, and 1-2 now, both the teammates in the drivers championship. How are you looking at that and seeing that?
Well, I didn't know I moved up to P2, but of course I'm not trying to. Well, I'm trying to win, of course, the driver championship, but our main focus with Zero is now the constructors, because Panda is just so fast. We can't do anything about him, and it's our first challenge is to win the constructors, and then we can think about the drivers championship. It's good points for us, P3 and P4. Thank you Zero for letting me buy it also, because that was a very nice move from him. I'm pretty excited about it, but that's it.
Okay, thank you. And that was Kahor, your driver, finishing fourth here tonight. Third, sorry, my bad. And we now should be moving on to Zero.
Hello. Yep.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. And just take us through your race, I believe, finishing P4, just right behind your teammate. At the end, we saw you let him past, but qualifying P2 on that front row, and just going into turn one, you lost it and got yourself almost back into last place, causing in the end a safety car with a few more crashes as well. Did that help? Had there not been any safety car, the race would have been a bit more difficult for you than it was, and you might have ended up being far more behind, but I think still got it back and fought through and still finishing P4.
I think Turn one wasn't really good. I got a little bit squeezed, so I think I touched the curb, got wing damage. Luckily it was a safety car, so I got back into it. But then someone, I don't know who, decided to squeeze it down the inside, so my left rear got clipped and I touched the wall again, so then I had damage after that also. So I was driving all race with like probably 2 seconds off my real pace, because the wing was not very good. I had I think 60% tire wear on the front left, and all other tires were 20%. And I also wanted to let by my teammate, because he did a better race than me. Just sadly he did a mistake, so he didn't get the win.
Yeah, in the end it would have been nice to see getting victory for your team, but how does your focus look now with their season just halfway point we are at it, and going into Baku? Are you prepared well, and how are you liking that track coming into next week?
In the past I've always hated Baku, but now I'm starting to feel more confident. I had great pace at least a couple of weeks ago, and I practice it. So I hope that I still have it. And also, like, from a championship perspective, I guess I'm gonna try to get it, but I don't think that anyone has a chance to beat Panda. Like, before the race, I already told my teammate that even if we are starting ahead of him, he's probably is gonna win. But yeah, he didn't win, but finished ahead of us.
Surely, and thank you so much. You had a nice race. I'm sure everybody wants to improve at the end of
Thank
it.
you.
Congratulations, and we
Also,
now move
also
on.
congrats to Daan.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now we should move on to McCurry if he's still here, or otherwise we'll move on to Magic Blood if the Aston Martin driver finishing in P5 is not here with us.
He's not here, but I'm here.
Okay, there we go. And we move to Magic Blood, finishing P6 in tonight's race. Starting P9, I think, making your way up to P6 in the end. No mistakes, not much involvement in those incidents as well. Just keeping it out of everyone, away from everyone, and in your own race. And still very good points for you, taking it up to P6.
Yeah, honestly, I think I know. I think after like the whole thing at the start, actually, due to the fact that the whole thing at the very beginning, it actually put me back to P10. But still, I think either way, it managed a different slot. But I think overall in the race, I think the race went pretty surprisingly well. Like there was one little bit which I was a little bit irritated about, but Kronk did apologize, and you know it is just racing. It was an incident. I am a bit irritated about the hosting issue, but you know it's just the racing. We can't really blame each other. There's only one person to blame, and that is called EA. However, I think overall the race went pretty well, and yeah, just honestly, I didn't want to stay on my own. Really, I was actually trying to push. Trying to push for that podium today. I felt stronger than ever, really here. So, yeah, but hopefully one day that podium will be mine.
Fantastic, definitely not many days away before we see you on that top 3. Any track now going forward as we're halfway past the season you want to be we're looking forward to specifically in the remaining ones which let me count it down for you. It's going to be Baku, it's going to be Suzuka, Vegas, and then Losail, the final race. Any one of them or all of them do you like really racing on them, and you think you have a better chance of maybe being on the podium that you talked about that you want to be on?
Let's see. So Baku, Losail, Vegas, and Suzuka. Well, first of all, due to an experience that me and Croc will never want to talk about again, Suzuka is definitely off the list. The Soul, I barely even touched the Soul, so guitar is definitely not going to be a strong suit. Vegas and Aku, however, now the reason why I'm interested about those two because they both have some very interesting turns. Aku, of course, having the infamous castle section known for the historical moment of Charles Leclerc. So that bit will be very interesting and it will make Baku a lot more interesting, especially with the absolute chaos which happens in this amazing league. And then, of course, there's Vegas, which there are areas which will make Vegas a little bit more daunting and also be very interesting for overtaking, like the long straight with DRS, and I think that will make, especially for the top fighters in the championship, I think it will make things really interesting. But I think for podium, I think out of all of them, it's gonna be really weird here. I'm gonna say Baku. Baku is the most chaotic and also is the most hardest to keep clean because of how close the walls are. Similar to Monaco, there is a bit more space, but Baku has already shown us that chaos can happen. Interesting races can also happen, but also podium can always have the little bit of a twist. So Baku could be that track, or Vegas is one of those two tracks.
Yeah, fantastic. Great to see you finish P6 here tonight, and then definitely excited to see what you'll do, Baku, as you talk about in your own words that you have a very good chance at it and how chaotic it can be. And that was Magic Blood, and now we move on.
Thank you.
Hello. I sure can. How are you?
Good, how are you? And we just talk about you qualifying first, qualifying at P10 on the grid at the end of it. We saw you improve your lap times for multiple times, but considering how close the grid and the battles have been here, we didn't see you improving much in terms of positions, just trying to improve in terms of points. So maybe something a little bit more you could have done better, or that was it all you had tonight?
I think just trying to get close to Magic, it wasn't working out for the best of me. The laps were coming together in specific parts, more so in like Sector 1 and Sector 2. But just couldn't piece a full lap together. Some laps I would have a good 1 and 2, and some laps it's 1 and 3, and so just giving it all I had. Unfortunately, wasn't enough, but we had great pace in the race.
Fantastic. I'm sure both you yourself and your teammate really were scraping it out there in all of those battles around. Anything you think could have been done better, or now with we're halfway done and with all these remaining tracks and the races, there could be more battles and we could see you doing even better?
Yeah, I definitely think the next couple races will definitely be even better battle-wise. Baku is a track that I'm particularly strong at, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think this race was, could have done better if I did not have them shunt into Magic running into the back of him in turn 1. But I think ultimately, I apologized to him, and it was just a misjudgment in the braking zone. Had I not broken my wing, I probably could have been up there today fighting with him closer. But still happy in the end with the position. I think I started P11, gained quite a bit.
Fantastic. and great to see. I hope to see you doing well. A lot of the drivers very excited for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku, and it should be nothing less than greatness. And now we should be moving on to Iceman.
I'm here.
Hey, there you go. And just finishing outside the points there in the race, of course. Very, very close battling. I mean, you tried getting in there in the end, trying to fight, trying to get as closer as you can. But El Dominici still far, far away for you to catch up and be with him or just even get ahead. Any time you think you had a chance of being in the points?
Yeah, I think I really did. I had a strong chance. I could tell that his soft tires were starting to wear out a little bit. And I was trying to gain a little bit of ground after he had passed me, and we were going to battle out for the last lap and a half. And then I guess I just overcooked it and misjudged it, and ended up in the wall and broke my wings. So just ended up chalking that one up to the track and finished it out, and just didn't even bother pitting because it was the last lap anyway. So
fantastic. So we've seen a lot of the drivers really. It's almost like here with this field of drivers, there is an A class which stays inside the top 5, the top 10, the top 5, top 7, and there's another fair share of other drivers outside that top 5 fighting for those final few positions. It would be interesting to see. And now, congratulations for your P11. I'm sure you would have wanted to finish a little bit better, but still ahead. I mean, still finishing the race. There were many drivers that could not finish a race tonight, so decent enough.
yeah, most definitely. But not good enough. Not good enough for the team. We got to do better. We got to clean that up going into Baku and the last remaining races.
Great, and hope we would be seeing both the McLarens at the top, and I believe now it is just going to be DMAC, the one remaining.
Thanks, Zabi.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hey, hello. DMAC, I believe you crashed in qualifying as well. We saw you retiring qualifying P8, of course. Apart from the race, even at the end of that session, you ended up being P8. So, what was just in your mind after you crashed and probably the qualifying didn't go your way? What was your thinking going on, especially into the race, and to see what you could do better than what you had done in qualifying?
Yeah, well, the crash was I don't know what happened. I over throttled it and I just hit the wall, and that was it. I mean, going into the race, I was really nervous and I knew anything could happen. Going in, especially in Netherlands, because the weather. But the weather ended up staying good, but I didn't get to show my potential, and because that first lap incident. I'm not happy with the result at all, but it's them tiny mistakes that could make improvements with. But yeah, nothing I could really have done there. But yeah, it's just unlucky. And yeah, nice one for John as well. He got a win, so at the first race for him, good race. Yeah. Speechless for me, though.
Yeah, fantastic. And now, how much of a blow this is going to be, especially going into this race? You were tied on points with 0 in the drivers' standings, and now you not scoring any points, and him not winning, of course, but still taking a few chunk of points, and you've now got to be grinding back up to try and catch him.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a championship on the line, but things can't always go my way, and today was an example of that. I just didn't get it right, and I hope I can recover eventually, but it's just, I knew something was going to happen eventually, but I still believe that if I keep a good performance going eventually, I might bring it back, but we'll have to see eventually.
Fantastic. Hope to be seeing you back out on track and doing all the performance that you have been doing so far. And that was DMAC with us. Thank you. And now we should be moving on to El Dominici.
How's it going, guys? Good.
Okay, El Dominici, I mean, going into the race, qualifying just outside the top 10 in P11 in the end, just ahead of the Haas driver, and then at that moment it was 13 drivers, which obviously became more as some of them joined in the end. And how hard of a challenge it was going to be, even if you were going to try and score those points, which in the end, of course, you did a great job finishing inside that top 10. So just take us through it, trying to stay away from the chaos, maybe sometimes part of it as well, but just going through the race and doing what it was going on and just staying in the moment there.
Yeah, the beginning was well, I just aimed to finish in a just under 10th place. I didn't think I was gonna score points today, actually, to tell you the truth. The beginning was kind of awkward because I think it was a virtual safety car, and I tapped somebody and got a 10-second. Then when I pitted to fix the wing, I got another 10-second. And then the next safety car after that, it told me to stop because I overtook somebody illegally. And I think somebody hit me. I'm not sure if it was Ghost, or Quota. I think they ran into me because of that. That might have messed up their race a little bit. And after that, the game kept taking over my wheel for some reason, and I couldn't get back to it. And it was just awkward after that for me.
Okay, I'm sure progressing through, there'll be many opportunities to improve and get better and maybe get your friendships out of the track, but then on the track make it better as well. It's going to give us more opportunities to everyone racing. And thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your night. And I believe everyone's done. Yeah.
You got to do Kota. You got to do Kota.
Yeah.
What's up? Please correct me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrect, but just not the race you would have wanted overall. I mean, qualifying P3, just excited for the beginning, really try and do what you could, but in the end, just ending up both you and DMAG getting out of the race, and it's really 0 points for you yourself, and then of course as a team as well.
Yeah, I mean, in qualifying, I would have gotten pole, but I got impeded on my last run when I was 3.5 tenths up, so that was that. And then in the race, it just was a full drive error by me, just misjudging and pressing too much on the throttle and spinning, hitting the wall. So
yeah, and so now, I mean, still we are already halfway past the season. 4 more races remaining. It's going to be improvement chances to try and do better. It's surely there's going to be chance to every single one of you guys racing. But any specific track you think that you could be as good as you can, as you were tonight in qualifying at least. Of course, the race didn't go your way, but I think in the end, sometimes it shows a glimpse of somebody how better they are and what they can do looking forward. So any track you're excited about?
I think I could be good in Qatar. I'm like 700 in the time trial leaderboard there, so yeah, Qatar.
Sure, fantastic. It was great having you all here and a great chat. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we had. No, I had my headphone closed up, but no, we had a great time, man. We appreciate you and everything you guys do. Thanks, man. Have a good weekend.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the chat we were having with all those drivers who raced tonight after a chaotic, interest-filled, and maybe some incidents, fair share of incidents in this race as well. Hope everyone of you watching enjoyed, and we will be back next week once again for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which will be another exciting and a fantastic race. It's myself, Zabi here, and I'll be out.